everyone, welcome to Opal Oracle. For those of you who are new, my name's Raaji. It's really nice to meet you. Technically, this is going to be for Libra for mid-September. I wasn't going to do a mid-month, but then I felt inspired to do so. There's energies that are shifting. I can feel it. I can feel it because, particularly with Libra, you know, you've been having a lot of positive readings. Are there elements within there about learning and growing and how that's a process in itself? Of course. But like I mentioned in July and August and September's reading, like there's an importance to be able to, really be in tune with your own feelings because you're going through a lot. And it's almost your birthday month. And I see you here kind of like presently, I see you content. I see you harmonious. I see you being really honest with yourself. I see you recognizing those parts of yourself that are, you're starting to see clearly, examine clearly, rather, what parts of you are still dark, like are still hindering you from recognizing your own strength. Okay? Your inner child is tired. I see here a lot of you are going to be tired during this time. Sorry, I put lavender and I must have touched my nose and it's burning. Can you excuse me for 1 second? It's like, maybe that's what your feelings feel like. It's like it's like a little, it was the tiniest amount. And it just seems so overwhelming right now. It's like this little tiny element is so expansive all of a sudden. And it's just overwhelming all of my senses. It's overwhelming my direction, my focus. You know? It's weird. Sense of smell, too. What does that have to do with your memories? Your memories. I see you being, for those of you, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter, single or not, but this is probably a little bit more, it'll hit the people that are that are single a little bit heavier. Ah, yes, of course. But it's like your ego's still telling you, you're letting your ego tell you things about about who you really are. And there's parts of it where you recognize it clearly. And you recognize the past, you recognize the pattern, right? You recognize that your head and your heart and where you're at now and where you want to be, they are different places. They are different places. This realization is coming. Like, you're trying to figure out what gives you breath in this life. Like, what gives you your power. And in that comes an acceptance of the light, of your light side and of your shadow side. Now, can we continue to heal our shadow side? Yes. Yes, we can. So it can become, it's not like it ever goes away and it doesn't exist anymore and that fear never comes within us. Although I will say, once you gain ultimate faith in Source, in Mother Earth, in whatever you believe in as a higher power, beyond your control, you know, letting go of that control. You're a cardinal sign. Like, you feel the need to balance everything out. You want to be in control. You know, you started because you had to separate Scorpio and Virgo. You didn't even exist before that, so they say. You know, but the reason why you exist in this dynamic, within this context of our astrological understanding, is to balance out earth and water. But like, earth and water touch one another. Like, how do you even, what would that be, like a stagnant swamp? Like, that's not fair to Libra, but Libra has to deal with that. And the whole point is that regardless of this being your purpose initially, it is no longer your purpose. You know, it's like your purpose as a toddler. Say you're like 2, 1.5, 2, getting into 3 years old, you learn how to walk, you learn how to crawl, you learn how to walk, you learn how to run. These were the goals. You don't just continue to learn how to crawl, learn how to walk, learn how to run. You move on. There's a next step. And there's still, it's like there's certain elements in relation, I see, in relation to, there's relationships. I see the lack of being satiated with life, in a way. Like, internally speaking. Externally, you probably got it in order. But internally, there's something emotionally that's still slightly imbalanced and is sort of at the beginning stages of expansion. And the funny thing is it shows me here, for the majority of you, the reason why you're trying to settle up and level out your emotions is because you want this 2 of Cups. You want it so badly. You've been wishing so badly. To have someone get you, to have someone understand you, to someone who's willing to share, who, once you involve yourself emotionally with people, you don't become discouraged and disappointed and apathetic about it. And think to yourself, like, why did I even involve myself with that situation? But see, that's the thing, is I don't believe that this is necessarily happening. It could for some of you, but it's more about the aspect of your emotions within this thought process, within your own psyche. Because I see you holding on to, like, things of the past a bit. It's like, you have the 9 of Pentacles on top of the 9 of Pentacles. Yes. Which in this Thoth deck is called Gain. It's Virgo in Venus. It's about acquiring things. It's about, but the Ace of Cups came out in addition to the other 9 of Pentacles, which is all about, it's a blessing of, well, this can be love, but it can very much be, of course, self-love. Because you have this Ace, and right at the top of it, you have this 9, which equals the 10. And this is a 10 within yourself. Not necessarily brushing yourself off in hopes of this 2. Like, why would you want to go to the 2 when you have any... Well, A, you can't go to the 2 until you reach this 10 and then go back around. But you got to go through the darkness of your ego to be able to find this cup. This cup is hiding somewhere inside of you, and you have to find it. It's like a maze. And you have to find it. You have to find, again, what gives you that power in life. What pushes you. What gives you breath. What fills you, right? Your lungs, they expand. Like, what fills you? Jupiter's almost out of your sign. It's about expansion. The next step of Jupiter is in your 2nd house, which is money, and that's good. But right now, we're working on I am. You know? You're harnessing the power of Aries within the planet of Jupiter. You know? These are strong energies, and I can understand that that can seem daunting. You know, trying to work through and really organize yourself, because you know deep down that it's a really slow process. This process. It's not something that you're just like, done, ding, dinner's ready. No. And I can sense the frustration. Like, you have all the things that you want. You are tired. You probably just want to sleep a lot, actually. And for some of you, you're going to soothe these kind of, there's going to be like a, you're going to want to satisfy yourself in a very surface way sometime between the 15th, towards the middle of the month to the end of the month. You're going to want to do something real surface to just fill a hole, you know? And you can if you want to. But remember that that goes on the karma checklist. I know that's kind of a, you know, kind of a bitch thing to say, but it's sort of true. Like, if we're on a path, and we're on a path to healing, when you have death at the bottom of the deck, you know, this is a year-long process. You've received the death card prior to this. But it's really important to shed those parts of ourselves, to really figure out our role in the situation, to let go and stop, and to actually transform. It's really cool to be able to do that. Just shed that skin, that old. I'm just picturing like in an abandoned house, and there's like paint on the walls, but it's just like peeling off, and it's just waiting for someone to go over and be like, like clean it up. You know, clean it. There's a need for polishing yourself, and maybe that's what it is you've been working on yourself in your job, Jupiter, all these things, and you're tired. And you want to just be like, oh, is it over yet? I've been wishing and praying and hoping for so long for people to understand me. Why don't they understand me yet? And actually, with all the other planets that are in your sign, I want to say for the majority of you, you're not even going to be really contented with being around people. Like the socialization factor, like you'll desire it because you're a social sign and you're a cardinal sign, but they're going to frustrate you, and there's a reason for that. There's a need to be more internal and to check out really what's going on within yourself so that you can sort out this Ace of Swords. This is your strength right now. This big ass sword to cut away all those fears inside of you that you are unable to because see, this is all it is. This is what you're afraid of. This little cloud right here, right? It's behind you too. You don't even really see it. You're paying attention to the truth of the matter, the truth that you've been gaining. But you're afraid to turn around and look at that little cloud because you feel like it looks like this. There's a lot of unknowing about it. There's still a lot of unknowing about this Two of Cups and what that means to you. How it affects your motivation. How it affects your own personal power, your choices in life, Your internal vibration, how is it affected by the Two of Cups? Because your future position, like you have 2 fours, the 2 fours, 4 Pentacles, and the 4 of Cups. It's like I see here, you're like gathering, you're gathering all your things, you're hanging on to what you have, you're trying to be in control of your life, you're trying to be like, I am walking this way, I'm being very aware of where I'm walking. I'm not going to turn around and look at the past. I see this, like you don't want to turn around and look at the past again. Well, for some of you will, and for some of you still don't want to in the future. But it all goes back to this Two of Cups. It's like you or someone else is going to offer you something, and if you choose it, if you choose yes, you're going to be disappointed. It's going to be the behavior of this Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands, which are both really impulsive, immature people that get you in trouble, that do not bring you what you want. Going out and drinking is not a good idea, by the way. I see all kinds of drinking in here. So for some of you, you probably will, but it's not your best bet. It's too many. These two. I love tarot. Tarot, I love you. That was a 4-wheeler. Love where I live. For now, you know. Gotta appreciate where you are right now. It could be so much worse. So the cards you received, my darlings, is Unfinished Symphony and why? Why? So, you want it to be over, I get it. You're like, dude, I've been wishing so long. Can I just change it now? It's the 10 and the 31. So that's a 1 and a 4. Which is a 5, and that's about change, which is good. Let me look at these really quick. The song of life is never over. The quest for learning, for answers, will never be over. It's a lifelong process. So when we're going through something, like say we're learning a lot about ourselves, right? This Death card. Particularly with the 6 of Pentacles beneath, which we've been talking about since like the beginning of the year. And then again the Star underneath. Just like the Star now twice. And just for fun, the 8 of Pentacles beneath that. Working so hard on yourself, Libra. Wishing so intently to heal, to change who you are, to live in a world where you feel more able to know when to give and how to receive, and who those people would be in your life so that you really feel compensated for the energy and vibrations that you put out into the world. And through that process, this really pushed you, this transformation. And I understand, like, once we go through a big thing like that, we're like, dude, can't it just be over? I just want it done. I just want to have fun. But it's never, like, over. And to look at life in that way, which I can understand that you know, that's possible to look at it that way, but it's like, technically, life isn't like a check mark on the list, you know, these little things. It's just a process, and we're here enjoying it and learning and understanding the rhythm of ourselves and how that interplays into our world, and how asking questions is really, really important. Seeking those answers within yourself is beyond checking something off on a list. You're figuring out your own inner power, your own inner passions. So that you can hold your own and don't need this Two of Cups. But you got to ask yourself, like, why do you feel like you need the Two of Cups? You know? I know you'll figure it out. It just takes time, and be patient in the process. Don't go rushing into anything with these. I don't like these two knights. Are kind of, they're jerks. They don't make good decisions. And this is in the future. You have two fours, and it's, although the fours are about stability, they're not. Fours usually are not. They're challenging cards in the pips. So be aware of that. Don't for those of you who drink, don't drink too heavily. You'll make some rash decisions, and it will cause you to have to backtrack, and there's no need for that. Okay? Alright, I'm wishing you the best. Best. See you later, Libra.